Marvel Studios attempts to recapture the chaotic charm of its past successes by assembling a team of misfit anti-heroes for a mission that drags them into both physical and emotional peril. Directed by Jake Schreier, Thunderbolts serves as a kind of spiritual successor to the Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad formulas, where a group of emotionally scarred outcasts must learn to work together. While there are flashes of potential throughout, Thunderbolts is a slightly frustrating film in that it tries to go places that most MCU movies don't, but doesn't always deliver on its ambitions. Set in the crumbling shadow of the Avengers legacy, Thunderbolts tells the story of Yelena Belova, played by Florence Pugh, Red Guardian by David Harbour, Bucky Barnes aka the Winter Soldier, John Walker, Ghost and Taskmaster. These familiar faces from earlier Marvel films and TV shows find themselves conscripted into a high-risk mission by Julia Louis-Dreyfus's Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, where they come face to face with Bob, played by Lewis Pullman. This isn't your average hero team-up. These characters are fundamentally broken, each carrying their own trauma and regret. In theory, it's a great place to do a deep dive into grief, identity and redemption. Unfortunately, Thunderbolts only skims the surface. While the script nods to the tragic past of its characters, Yelena's loss of her found family, Bucky's century of violence and brainwashing, Ghost's existential instability, it largely avoids engaging with their grief in a meaningful way. These people have lived through hell, but the film too often moves past these moments too quickly for the audience to really settle in to these emotional beats. I also feel that the movie had a chance to do something really bold that we probably last saw in a movie like Infinity War, but instead chooses a more clean and straightforward approach. Still, that doesn't mean Thunderbolts lacks emotional heft. Florence Pugh and David Harbour are the film's backbone. Pugh brings a haunted vulnerability to Yelena, whose trademark deadpan humour is underlined with a deep sadness. David Harbour, meanwhile, remains a standout as Red Guardian, bringing a mix of bravado and genuine warmth that gives the team a much needed human touch. The dynamic, at once tragic and hilarious, is the film's beating heart. Where Thunderbolt truly excels for me is in its moments of action and visual experimentation. When the team first meets up, the tension is great and the combat choreography shines. Schreier leans heavily into practical stunt work and it pays off. Bucky's motorcycle chase, complete with a barrage of explosions, is one of the film's most entertaining sequences and I loved it. Yet, not all of the effects land the same way. Some of the CGI, particularly in later acts, is noticeable and occasionally jarring, pulling the viewer out of otherwise engaging moments. One element that does stand out visually is the film's depiction of the Void, a mysterious and terrifying entity. Here, the special effects team outdoes itself. The Void is, well, just that. It's an embodiment of nothingness, a literal black hole that sucks the life and light out of scenes, in a good way. The way it's portrayed creates a sense of dread, visually echoing the depression and emptiness several characters feel internally. It's a bold, effective piece of cinematic storytelling. I've said it before, and I guess I'll have to say it again. Narrative surprises are often dulled by trailers and promotional materials that give too much away, and again, it's true for Thunderbolts. The twist with Bob, for example, lands softer than it should have, not because the performance is weak, but because the trailers kind of showed things that possibly didn't need to be shown. And although I don't usually touch on this, perhaps the biggest hurdle Thunderbolts faces is its accessibility. While technically self-contained, the film is deeply ingrained in the MCU continuity. To fully appreciate the dynamics and stakes at play, audience would benefit greatly from having seen Black Widow, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and pretty much all 4 Captain America films. Without that context, many character beats fall flat and emotional payoffs lack their intended impact. This is a movie made for Marvel fans that have stuck around since day one and have watched everything. Ultimately, I enjoyed Thunderbolts for what it was. Ambitious but inconsistent, daring in places but formulaic in others. I think I went in with high expectations for what was to come, but was left a little bit underwhelmed. However, it does manage to carve out a unique identity amidst Marvel's ever-growing library. It might not win over skeptics, but for those who have followed the franchise since the beginning, there is enough here, emotion and action to justify the ride. Thunderbolts is out now in cinemas. Have you seen it and what did you think about it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed the review. Thanks as always for watching. I'm Dan, and until next time.